Game 3 for the Nuggets and Clippers. LA at home, tied at a game apiece after stealing one in Denver. First ever playoff game at the Intuit Dome in Inglewood. The Wall, all fired up. Let's go. First quarter, Clippers down 1. James Harden getting there. Clippers go up 1. Next Clippers possession, Harden size it up and take the 3 this time. He was 3 of 8 from out there. Clippers with a 4-point lead. Final seconds of the first, Harden behind the back to Nick Batum, and Batum goes to dynamite. Clippers 9 made threes in the first quarter, most in the playoff quarter in franchise history. Clippers by 7 after 1. Second quarter, Clippers extending the lead. They're up 11 now. Derrick Jones Jr., he had 10. The Clippers bench outscored Denver's bench 31-6. Later in the second, Kawhi Leonard, so strong with the ball, knocks that down. 18-point Clipper lead. Under 2 minutes left in the half. Clippers up 17. Harden put him on the line, too. Harden had 20 points in the first half. Didn't score in the second half, but he had 9 assists and 6 rebounds in the ballgame as well. Clippers by 18 at the breaks. Third quarter, Norman Powell getting in on the action. 12 of his 20 in the second half. Clippers up 21. Later in the third, Leonard 3 for 6 from 3. The Clippers 18 of 39 from 3 as a team. Clippers up 20 after 3. And it just wasn't Denver's night as the Clippers took it to him. Leonard putting the moves on Jamal Murray. 21 points, 11 boards for Leonard. Nikola Jokic with a triple-double, 23, 13, and 13, but not nearly enough. Clippers win it 117-83. And LA up 2-1 in the series now.
It's a good game one.
From the fan
game one and into it.
Yeah, from the fan aspect though, just what was that?
It was cracking. It was loud. It was just how we expected it to be. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the reasons why we jumped out to a huge lead. You know what I mean? They got behind us and we just rode that wave.
I feel like you kind of made it a point of emphasis to be aggressive early. Was that something you were thinking about coming into this game that you felt this team needed?
That's always. You know, me being aggressive is not just scoring. It's, you know, facilitating. It's doing other things. So, you know, I got some shots to fall early, and that kind of just, you know, got the guys rallied up, and everybody made shots. You know, we had opportunities, especially in the first 2 games, and shots that we didn't make. You know, which this league is a make or miss league. You know what I mean? So we knew other guys, you know, that hadn't, you know, made shots in the first 2 games were gonna make shots, and you know, they did that tonight.
James, you guys finished the first quarter on a 10-0 run, and it seems like from then on out, you guys imposed you guys' will defensively.
Yep.
Never really looked back. Why are you guys so locked in defensively? I know game 1 you guys fell short, but it seems like since then you guys have been locked in. You guys haven't really had any letdowns.
We've been that way all year long.
Yeah.
Like, that's our calling. Like, that, if we wouldn't even be in the postseason if it wasn't for our defense. So we know, like, going into games, like, no matter what happens offensively, you know, we gotta be on point defensively. That's what keeps us in the game. You know, so we've been like that all year, and you know, as much as perfect as we want to be, like we aren't. You know what I mean? So we make mistakes, we cover for each other, and we just continue to, you know, be resilient and keep fighting defensively. And you know, the first game, you know, we 20 turnovers on the road. You can't win. You know, it's very, very difficult to win, and we still gave ourselves a chance. Tonight, how many we had? 10. Like, that's the game right there. Game 2, we had 10 as well. So you do that and you rebound the basketball, you make shots, you give yourself a chance to win.
James, too, right? I'm curious to know, like, what the conversation at halftime was. Like, you guys had a lead, and you know that, you know, you play well to start that second half, and you have control of the game. Like, what was the conversation like to just amongst each other to maintain control that y'all built and established?
There were some things that we still could have got better at, like pick and roll. Jokic is up. You know, he's doing a good job of being up. And you know, the first half, Zoo had like 3 or 4 opportunities where he got the ball into the basket and he missed a layup. I think he got fouled one time, and I forgot what happened the other 2 times. But like, Zoo, go dunk the ball. Like, finish those plays. You know,
on magical performances. Like I said, when Stephen A. laughed and went crazy and started running around over there in the studio, Kawhi Leonard is the guy. He has put teams on his back when they needed the most. If he's available, he is the guy, and he's going to continue to play well because I don't even see him slowing down, to be honest.
Okay, Stephen A., let me just get the debate question in here. Does Kawhi get the appreciation that he deserves?
Yes, he does. Because, see, what happens is when you're his teammate and you're not neutral and you're a bit biased, of course you're James Harden, you will say what you would say, and you're Marcus Morris, and you will clap the way that you did.
No,
Here's
I
the thing,
was
Marcus,
his teammate.
hold on,
I was.
Hold on. You was his teammate. You were his teammate. That's right. Marcus, James Harden, let me speak to both of you directly and all you Kawhi Leonard lovers out there. You have to quote people accurately. When James Harden talks about all the hate, he's right about that. James Harden wasn't wrong with what he said. But you got to contextualize it properly. Anybody who watches basketball knows how sensational Kawhi Leonard is. But that's where the hate comes in because of the lack of availability spanning years. He came into these playoffs having missed 15 of the Clippers' last 19 playoff games. We know what Kawhi Leonard is when he's available. We saw him win a Finals MVP when he was in San Antonio. We saw him win another Finals MVP when he was in Toronto. Who has ever questioned the greatness of Kawhi Leonard once he's been on the basketball court? That answer is no one. What we lamented was the fact that he was always injured. Now, Marcus and James Harden, you're absolutely right as teammates. Guess what? If he were my teammate, I'd be the same way about him. I'd come to his defense because the brother attempted 15 shots in game 1 and made 15 in game 2, shooting damn near 80% from the field. He was sensational last night. And guess what? To watch him play, watching him run up and down the court, you have a right to salivate, to crave that from him more often. His absence of availability through no fault of his own. He got injured. We get all of that. It's not like the man was faking injuries. But the reality is that there was such a flagrant lack of availability. That's why we said what we said about him. It didn't stop him from blackmailing the Clippers. Yo, get Paul George here. Otherwise, I'm going to go sign with the Lakers. It didn't stop him from getting all the perks that came with it. What we said was when Paul George got hurt, we flagrantly saw what that injury is. We wondered whether his career was over when he got injured, for crying out loud, because of the way he came down on his knee. We saw Kawhi Leonard drop 38 one game, 31 another, walk off the court, look perfectly fine. And then the next day we learn he out for the rest of the playoffs. We're like, damn, what the hell's going on here? There's nothing wrong with people going like this. Damn it, damn it, damn it. He's so great. I want to see him. I'm tired of him being unavailable. That's all it has been with Kawhi Leonard. Nothing else. So James Harden and Marcus, I appreciate where y'all coming from. But if y'all going to come at people for throwing shade on Kawhi Leonard, let's just be accurate. All we were saying is, damn, you great. We really, really want to see you out on that court because with you, the Clippers could win a championship. Without you, they have no chance. That's the bottom line.
Stephen A., I agree with everything you just said. I don't know how many of you guys have had, Marcus, I don't know if you've ever had a regular job, but my boss used to say, you know that Sharpe, he a good hard worker when I can get him to come to work. Kawhi's a good player when I can get him to come play basketball. How am I supposed to give you credit if you're sitting on the sideline in street clothes and your team is out there fighting, trying to advance in the playoffs, trying to win a championship? Stephen A. spoke to this. He won an NBA, he won a Finals MVP in San Antonio. He couldn't have been no more than 23, 24 years of age. Then
Magnificent. It went exactly as scripted. Steve and Connie Ballmer built a shrine to the nation, and the fans are here, and they don't want to leave because this felt really good. You can't hear me at all.
I can't hear you at all. I'm just going to stand up for the fans. Yeah. You know what? This is what we love, Jeannie. The first ever playoff game in Intuit Dome. We have the fans. They were absolutely sensational.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
But it goes to the players and what they did on the floor. The continuity, the great chemistry, the flow, everything worked the right way. And early on in the game, it seemed like Denver had a little bit of an edge. Eric Gordon was hot early.
Mojo, Eric, yes, he was.
But they continued to weather the storm. And again, from James Harden, one of the 75 greatest players of all time, Kawhi Leonard, one of those guys as well, they stepped in and did their job collectively as a unit. And we're just so very happy to be a part of it.
There is so much to unpack here because everybody had something to do on both sides of the ball. Let's start with the three-pointers in this one because there were 9 in the first quarter as the Clippers were really setting a tone. You talk about Aaron Gordon out of the gate, but then the Clippers said, wait a while, this is our house.
And we talked about this early before the show. You asked me what player was going to get going. I said it was going to be either Norman Powell or James Harden, and they did that tonight. And early on in that first quarter, we saw how sensational James Harden could be by hitting those big threes. And it was at one point I said this at halftime. It was 22-26. Joker had just scored, but James Harden came back with a dagger with a three. And then he hit another dagger. And then he hit another dagger. And it was a trickle-down effect for this entire team, the way they shot the three ball tonight.
All right, so we talked about the offense. We got to focus on the defense because that is the bread and butter of this Clippers team, the identity from Jump Street, and it was present here tonight, Corey.
Well, first of all, I salute Coach Ty Lue, and I can salute Coach Jeff Van Gundy from the defensive side. You have to get a team to really buy in. They started this early in the season. Even with all the additions mid-season by trades, they found a way to get to what works best for this team. And defensively, if you want to win championships, you have to have defensive principle. You need to have discipline. And they had that through this series going so far. And tonight was the night that we saw that, Jimmy. Multiple efforts defensively. If it was Nicholas Batum getting the block, if it was Zoo, patrolling the paint, everybody knew exactly what to do. You needed to be on the string as a team, and they were absolutely spectacular tonight doing that.
There are so many notes defensively. They had 20 points in the first 4:35 of the game. There was a stretch in this one where they had 38 points with about 4:30 left in the third quarter that just were stifled, absolutely stifled. And Denver did not have any type of response. I guess I was expecting them to come out off the mat a little bit more in the third quarter. Admittedly, the offense stalled a bit for the Clippers as well. But they went to the bank early, and they could lean into that cushion. As mentioned, James Harden, we saw the big smile coming in because he was cooking early, Corey.
And he was cooking, and you had to go back to James Harden. He's spinning the ball. He's making something. Right. But how special James Harden was as a player. And again, it started by him shooting the tray ball, getting down early. And you didn't need a lot from James Harden. Like, you didn't need 30. But you got those early three-point shooting and just a sensational play by him. But this is what you want. When the moment shines the brighter, you can count on these stars. James Harden has shown that this is his home. He loves being here. He loves being a Clipper. And to do this on that first, again, the first ever playoff game into it, he was definitely into it.
6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, and I love the lineup change there as well. We talked about it at half, where Kawhi and Big Zoo take a seat, and it is James Harden and Norman Powell that got things going. We will talk about Norm, no doubt, because he was very comfortable.
Nhớ mình ra khép cái cửa em ơi. Nha em. Hôm nay mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn làm vòng thôi, vòng của mình sẽ có đưa đề là cái sẽ bắt đầu nhé. Mày muốn bao nhiêu? Em trả nhé, nhưng mà ổn em này. Ui không? Đi rồi, mình đứng đây. Sợ động luôn đúng không? Sao cái này nó được ý gì? Gì? Có chăng sự rõ em nói với em không như em anh sẽ em